Hello, listeners. We are your co-hosts, Janine Bailey and Marie Quigley, for the Empower World Coaching and Leadership Podcast.
Empower World brings guests who are making a difference to the world to inspire coaches and leaders who lead with mind, heart, and soul.
Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Empower World Coaching and Leadership Podcast. And I am delighted to be here. I'm in the UK, but I'm delighted to be here with my very special guest, Inga Bielinska, who's in the States right now. So we are at the very opposite ends of our days. Mine very early morning, yours very late at night, Inga. So I really appreciate you being here, making that time to come onto our podcast as our special guest. I'm so delighted Inga is here because we've known each other for quite a number of years now, through various different ways and means, and I've really enjoyed our connection. I really hear the value that you bring, Inga, in coaching, in leadership. So I'm delighted that you are our special guest today. And so I'd like to hand over to you to introduce yourself to our listeners. Thanks, Inga.
Thank you. Thank you for this kind words. Yeah, it is kind of funny how we known each other and met a few times virtually, but we have never met face to face. Yeah, maybe it will be possible like in reality in one space. Yeah, but that's wonderful about the current world, that we can connect with others and have meaningful relationships, even if sometimes it's difficult to be in the same space. So I'm in California right now, in Bay Area, and most of the time I work with clients in tech environments, either like tech, like software, or engineers in manufacturing company. I love working with engineers. There is something about this mindset which I appreciate, even though I'm not an engineer myself. Yeah. And I work with this in this industry in different capacities, quite a lot as a team coach. So I support leaders and their teams as well, as an executive coach. So I think that I grew together with my clients, and I generally, when I started working as a coach, they were first-time managers, and now they are in the CIO, CTO roles. So this is my typical client nowadays. And apart from that, and that's the space we met actually, Janine. It's the space of supervision. I love coaching supervision. And I use it to support other coaches, not only in San Francisco Bay Area chapter where I work as a group supervisor, but as well ICF Washington chapter and ICF Polish chapter. So I try to spread the supervision as much as possible, but I as well help leaders who use coaching skills with coaching supervision. So I use the methodology, the tool, the modality as well with leaders, even though they don't consider themselves coaches, they are leaders who use coaching as one of the leadership tool. So that's, yeah. And apart from that, I'm a psychodramatist, and I love psychodrama, and I love to use it in all the different modalities I do. It is connected with my first degree. I actually studied theater a long time ago. So.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your background, Inga, because you're the perfect guest, really, being a coach, but also supporting and working with leaders, which coaches do. And it's really great to hear how you use your skills of supervision to support leaders who utilize coaching skills. It's such... And that's connected to the topic that we're going to bring in today really beautifully. But I just really want to acknowledge the work that you do and the value that you bring to the coaching profession in all those different roles that you really sit in and utilize and support, again, coaches, but also leaders. So thank you for all the work that you do, because I know you're a fantastic LinkedIn poster and you share so much value. It's quite incredible. So thank you for being our special guest.
Thank you. However, I believe in giving back so much to the community as well of coaches, because I was very fortunate when I studied coaching. It was 2009. I actually met excellent coaches who as well were very generous with their time and learning and space. And I still very close to them. And I believe that this is what we need to do. Yeah. The more we grow as coaches, we need to support our community of coaches too. So I think this is like a mission, or yeah, I can call it mission. Yeah. I would like to give back as much as possible.
Yes, really appreciate that. And this is what this podcast is about, is really supporting the profession of coaching and yes, giving back to that profession in support of the people that we want to be able to partner with. So, and Inga, we were connecting recently about the latest changes to the Code of Ethics via the ICF. Recently, they brought out a new set of Code of Ethics, and there were some things in there that caught your attention, and we connected about that. So, and it's, well, I'm going to hand over to you to share your thoughts about what it is that we can do as coaches to look after ourselves. So over to you, Inga.
So I would love to appreciate the work of all these people who got involved in updating the code of ethics. I believe that this is really difficult work to create something that needs to help coaches all over the world, in different cultures, in different places, in different specialities as well, because we've got business coaches and we've got life coaches as well, and we've got team coaches. And this code of ethics is an umbrella for all of these different groups with different, as I said, cultural differences. So first of all, thank you for this work. It's very impressive. And there are elements which I really love about this code of ethics. However, what I was teeny tiny disappointed about is the element of the lack of the world well-being and self-care, even though it is implied here and there that this is our professionalism, that we take care, it's not take care, that we actually seek support when it's necessary. We need to understand our limitations and we need to look for support. And I actually miss this word self-care and well-being, because I feel that when I look at myself, I think that I am my biggest resource. And the attention and the light needs to be a little bit on me as my biggest resource. Not that I'm full of myself. By the way, there is a comment as well in this new code of ethics, which I know that triggered a few people, that we as coaches, we shouldn't be showing any superiority. And it was kind of vague a little bit. I can quote it more specifically later, because I've got document open as well. But in this term that if I'm my instrument, I really need to show love and care to myself as well, if I really want to do this job. So I was missing this opportunity to express it a little bit. It's not only that, okay, know that you can make mistake as a coach and seek support or help or professional. And professionals mentioned, there are mentor coaches, coach supervisors, and trainers and teachers. This is all great. However, the language is a little bit different. The language is of obligation towards our clients. And I feel that it could be stated as this is obligation to ourselves as well. And I shared with you that I have actually personal story about that it's very easy to get into the loop of, I love this job, I see the value it brings, and I have so much responsibility towards my clients that I can disconnect from myself. It happened to me in 2022. I was really sick at the time, and I didn't know what was it. And on a day when I was having there was COVID, so it was online consultation with some professor from Stanford Cancer Center, and they used the word sarcoma. Sarcoma is like the worst kind of cancer you can get. And I was so disconnected from myself that, you know what I did after this conversation? I felt that I had to have session with a client, that it was my obligation because this person had such a problem. I was like, it was such a disconnection. stories, it wasn't sarcoma, it was something completely different. It ended very well to me. I had a beautiful care. Thank you to Stanford Cancer Center and there's great doctors there. But that was a lesson, that was a wake-up call for me that, okay, Inga, yeah, you definitely have a lot of professionalism towards your clients, but what about yourself? And that was as well the time when I already graduated from supervision training. I was working with Lily Seto as my supervisor then. And I brought this forward with her that there's something really like I have a lot of responsibility. I'm like, I think I have a high work ethics towards people I support or I coach and teams I coach. But there was this lack of this, responsibility towards myself. It was a really strange moment to realize that. And I remember investigating things like, compassion fatigue or some aspect because it wasn't burnout. Yeah. I think it was just disconnect at the time. Um, and then I really understood what supervision can support coaches with really getting connected with themselves. Because if we are not connected with ourselves, I don't feel that we do the job to the level we could do. That it's almost like this oxygen mask. Yeah, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself before. So yeah, that was the moment when I started to communicate more about well-being, self-care, support. That's why I'm actually practicing mostly group supervision. I finished I think fourth cohort with ICF Bay Area chapter yesterday, and we had a closing session, and everybody there shared that it's so great to be with others, other coaches, understand that despite of the level of our, experience in coaching, we have similar challenges, and how important it is to understand that my questions or my doubts are valid, and I can seek help, I can support myself somehow. So yeah, that was the origin of my, I think, belief that without self-care and taking care of me as a coach, I cannot be really professionalist. So that's why I think it's a little bit missed opportunity. The language that was used in this code of ethics is very client-oriented. It's not us-oriented as much. Yeah. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing your experiences, and that's a powerful experience as you've shared your own personal experience, and it's wonderful to hear how you've come through that. And of course, we always know as coaches, don't we, that through those challenges, there's always great learning, and we can also appreciate that in the ICF core competencies, there's core competency two, which asks us to look after ourselves, and through supervision, although it's not mandatory via the ICF, but it is by other codes like the EMCC.
but in code of ethics, actually, the word supervision or supervisor is used 4 times. So that's good. Yeah. So I think this is a huge progress. Yeah. And as I said, I have a lot of appreciation towards the work which was done. It could be a little bit like the language could be a little bit towards us, not only clients. Yeah? Even the code of ethics is towards the client. I think the purpose of this document is to help us understand how we show up in the relationship with our clients. Yeah.
Yeah, so the ICF recognizes it, but what perhaps is that missed opportunity is to bring that into the code of ethics. So perhaps there's a little bit of a blind spot there. And, by raising awareness, which is what we do as coaches, potentially that might be in the next iteration. Um, let's
Really, but as well, I think that maybe we need to talk about it when we interpret this code of ethics. There is a series of videos. I haven't seen all of them. I'm in the process of watching. I feel that this is a very important document. I always try to, especially in the group supervision, make sure that we bring code of ethics, both EMCC and ICF, because I usually have mixed groups. People are either associated with both or with one of these institutions, and it's really helpful when coaches actually understand the code of ethics and are not worried about it. Like, yeah, oh my God, is it like what is wrong or what is good? No, it's just the curiosity about what you do. Yeah. So I hope that maybe in these videos that they interpreted, maybe the language used there is more softer towards coaches.
Yes. And as you highlight, it is so important to put on our oxygen mask. And a lot of coaches run their own practice. Of course, there's internal coaches. There are, of course, leaders who coach, who take on a lot of responsibility.
Oh, it's
And
great that you bring in this topic because I actually use coaching supervision as well with leaders who use coaching as a tool. And because of the power dynamic and different kind of role they have because they are leaders, there is even more pressure they feel or they communicate this pressure in terms of coaching is partnering. How can I truly partner? Yeah. Or I coach this person, I ask them questions, but at the back of my head, I know that they might be the only way to do it because that's aligned with our strategy. So I feel a little bit like a phony, a little bit that I coach around something which is more like obligation that you have to do it this way somehow. So there's a lot of pressure on them, and I feel that coaching supervision needs to go to organizations nowadays, yeah, because coaching is used as a leadership tool. I know that Damian Goldberg, we know him both, just published book about coaching for leaders, yeah. So it's very common area that leaders use nowadays, yeah. So they need as well this kind of support we get, especially supervision. I think less mentoring because they don't have to like I think meet all the competencies, but supervision is a very useful tool for them.
yes, and it is a really powerful way to support the coaches, professional coaches, as well as the leaders to put on their oxygen mask, as you say, Inga. And so there's potentially a lot of responsibility, a lot of coaches who actually have their own practice. They're wearing lots of hats. Leaders
Mhm.
are wearing lots of hats.
Mhm.
So taking on this responsibility, and it can be wonderful work, but it can also be lonely at the top, as they say.
Yeah.
And potentially there's a running type. I can speak for myself. There's a go, 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 and forgetting to put on our oxygen mask. We're like the plumber who doesn't look after our own house.
We've got this saying in Polish language, yeah, that shoemaker very often walks barefoot. So there might be something there. However, you know what is interesting when I think about it? A lot of topics, especially in group supervision, are connected with the sense of value and the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, solo entrepreneur usually, and selling to clients, yeah, because I don't know anybody who started to be a coach thinking I love sales. Yeah, just I am born entrepreneur, so I basically business person, and that's why I will go to coaching. Usually the way or path is different. Yeah, and then the people do all of these trainings, they learn, they do bits and pieces probably at work, and they have the idea, oh, I need to, leave this corporate world and start my own business because that's what I love. And then they learn that there are a lot of different aspects of this work, that it's not coaching per se, that you have to sell, you have to negotiate, you have to network a lot. You have to as well be pretty, I would say, versed at digital marketing. You mentioned LinkedIn at the beginning, and this is the part that sometimes affect the sense of value so much that it impacts the way coaches coach.
Mm.
So it's actually quite interesting that this aspect is as well so impactful that even the money negotiations, yeah, like this client, for example, is not paying me on time, or they negotiated really low like fee for coaching, or uh, whatever is out there, and coaches take the blame. Oh, I wasn't good enough in negotiating. And now, because I'm afraid that this person will like disappear without paying me, I'm not challenging them enough, and I try to create nice environment. Yeah. So there is a lot of connections, not only about how we coach, but as well when we are business owners, how we run our business, which can affect uh, our well-being, really, and the sense of competence as well. Yeah. And this is sometimes the saddest thing I see when I work as more as a mentor, because I can listen to sessions there. I prepare people for PCC or MCC exams. And it happens when this is a like PCC exam, yeah, and they desire is to leave the corporate environment, and they do beautiful coaching, but they really struggle in this business aspect of work, and their skill set, because of the lack of self-confidence that stems from the lack of ability to make money in this field, affects the way they coach. And this is really sad sometimes. Yeah. So, and yeah, we don't like to talk about money. It would be great that every company hired internal coaches. That would be really wonderful. It would give us some safety and stability, but it's a very rare story. Most of coaches are external coaches. Yeah.
Yes. No, you've brought in some really, really good points, Inga, and there is just so much that goes on behind the scenes of coaching. And, I'm thinking of a number of corporate pieces of work that we've been invited to participate in. And there's a whole lot of work that goes into putting proposals, having meetings, etc. And then all of a sudden the corporate client will come back and say, oh, there's been a change of plan. We're not doing this work now. So, and we've had that a few times this year where
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. This year is such a weird year that I have never experienced anything like that. I remember 2008. That was pretty challenging. I had different business at the time. Yeah, it was pretty challenging. But this year, oh my God, it started in some kind of weird way. So yeah, and sometimes we don't take it into consideration. Yeah. So funny thing, we talked about leaders who coach. I see this happening with a few of them who I know for a longer time, because they invested in coaching skills, they fell in love in it, and they start talking about like, oh, Inga, I would love to do it as you do. You just coach. This is what, like, it would be great. Yeah. And they have never had any kind of business owner experience, always in a corporate environment. And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. And there are some elements which you need to consider as well. It's more like it's not coaching or supervision, it's just conversation between me, a more experienced business owner, with a person who just wants to, use my brain a little bit. You're like, okay, so these are these aspects. Have you thought about it? It's like, oh, okay. And these aspects might impact you. So yes, definitely everything is doable, but it's good to consider it, because I've seen sometimes love for coaching disappearing because of other circumstances. Yeah, unfortunately, which is a pity, because I still believe that there is too few of us, to be honest.
Yes, yes. And it, what you're sharing, it can happen to the best of coaches. And so it really does highlight the importance of that self-care, nurturing self, supporting the mindset to really be able to have faith and courage in doing this work that is brave and is also so important, to be able to support the leaders of today, tomorrow, etc. So, and we haven't really touched on what supervision is for those who perhaps aren't aware of what supervision is. So, and we're both supervisors, which is, you shared, that's how we've come in to know each other, through the wonderful Damien Goldberg. So, Inga, very briefly, what would you say to our listeners who perhaps haven't experienced supervision? How would you describe that?
So I will use the language I use actually when I talk to leaders. And I always say that supervision is the space of reflection when you actually can stop and pause and think about who you are as a coach and how you coach, and talk about all the doubts or challenges and successes you experience there. And there are three elements which I usually consider in supervision. There is the space of course, restorative. So through reflection, you actually restore, recharge, regain your self-confidence, you as a coach. That's a very important part of it. There is a formative part of it in terms of how-tos, and it can show, it doesn't have to show, like how to do something, how to sort this challenge or problem of a client, how to show up. I noticed that there are more how-tos in team coaching supervision than in like regular coaching supervision, because there's thinking how to help this team, how to do something with this team. So this is more like formative element, and there is a normative element, hence code of ethics. Yeah, like what is this ethical maturity in the work, especially when there is a lot of power dynamics happening when you work with the organization, when you work in the organization. Yeah, but the space have different forms, and we don't know where the conversation will go. Eventually, it's for the service of you as a coach, but as well is for the service of all your clients, current and future clients. Yeah, so people you actually work with as a coach, and that's how I see it. Yeah, the space of reflection with some aspects of learning and some aspects of talking about what is ethical, what is the gray area here, and how to sort out or some of this gray area challenges. Yeah.
Beautifully articulated, Inga. It is that wonderful space where we support our coaches, our leaders to feel safe to be able to share whatever is challenging for them, or look at those opportunities as well to develop themselves in terms of who they are being as a coach, as a leader who coaches. So as you say, it's a very restorative, but also a place to develop who we are being. So really appreciate what you've shared. So Inga, as we wrap up our topic today, which I again thank you so much for bringing in, what is the one thing that you would like to share with our listeners to be mindful of or to reflect upon as we finish up today?
So maybe the simplest thing, actually. So what have you done today to take care of yourself? That's one of the simplest questions we can ask ourselves. Is it, I don't know, enough sleep? Good cup of coffee? I'm a coffee lover, I would say. Or is it walk? Or is it great time with your nearest and dearest? I don't know, maybe time with a great book, whatever, something which is actually your own way of recharging your batteries. Because if you use coaching at work on a regular basis, you need to take care of your energy levels as well. And this is one of the signs of being a professionalist. Yeah, like breaks. So yeah, what have you done today to take care of yourself? That would be my reflective space. However, I've got one message for leaders who listen to it. So dear leaders, if you use coaching or you study coaching and you start asking some coaching questions at work, I would really encourage you, find maybe local chapters of ICF that because a lot of chapters all over the world have some offerings for group supervision. Please don't think I'm not a coach, I'm just a leader who uses coaching and it's not for me. No, go to this space and share and talk to people and share your challenge if you have a case around you using your coaching skills at work with your employees or with your peers, because that's possible as well. Because that's something which really can help you to be more effective both as a leader and both as a coach. So just do it. Check the local chapters of ICF. I'm pretty sure that you will find something. And if you fell in love in it, then you might find a group you want to be like in for a longer time. Yeah, because the model might be dropping and might be a longer thing. So that's a small message. If you're a leader, do it.
A great message. Thank you. Thank you, Inga. Again, a huge thanks for being a guest on our podcast. Marie's not with me today, but I know she'll be very grateful for your generosity of time and sharing your wisdom. So again, thank you, Inga. Keep doing what you're doing. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny, for the invitation. And as well, I can see that there are some light showing up on your walls. So the day is waking up. So enjoy the day. Thank you for inviting me.
And have a lovely sleep. Nice long sleep. Restful sleep.
Isn't it amazing, this connection over, the globe? Your day is waking up, my day is long gone. This is the beauty of actually the space we are in. This is the part I actually enjoy, that I can connect with people all over the world whenever I want.
Very, very fortunate to do that. Thank you, Inga. Sleep well.
Thanks for listening. You can find out more about us
on our website, www.empower-world.com, and on our social media networks, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Be empowered.